there's two from Take Flight that I can think of right off the top. The first one is Creating Nothing Free. I remember he made that beat and I was so indifferent about it. And I was like, it's cool because it has a classic boom bap to it. Like, you know, that real hardcore boom bap. And that's how we started it. And then as we escalated into the beat, I was like, it's getting corny. Like, it's getting too poppy. You know, it's too commercial. And I really didn't know, but I loved the drums in it. So I was like, you know, this was one of those moments where I was like, okay, I feel awkward, but I kind of like it, but I don't. But let me try and run with it and see what happens. Long story short, all I had was the hook. And I don't even know where it, like, I can't even tell you where the inspiration fueled from. But basically, like, to sum it up, in the hook, I say, let's take it global. We all eating on me. Like, nothing in life is free. You know, put your work in, put your time in. And I'm trying to be heard around the world. And at this point, Nothing Free was like one of the first 3 or 4 tracks that were created on the album. So this was a few years into it was, you know, it took about 3 years to complete the album. So this was the very beginning. Fast forward to when the album's ready to be completed. And I'm pregnant and all this stuff is happening. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm supposed to release the album. Like I'm having the, you know, planning to have the baby and everything. We get invited on tour, Intel and I, to Europe. And all this shit is happening. Like, all this opportunity is coming now at like the most crucial point of my life. And I'm embracing it and everything's amazing. But the one song that I felt comfortable, because the album wasn't out yet and it wasn't fully completed, but the one I was like, oh, I can't. That's why I created Poetic Premonition, sidebar, because of the tour. Because I was like, I need a project to clutch on while I'm out there that I can give out to the fans. You know, I can't really promote. I could promote Take Flight, but it's not out yet. So Nothing Free was the only song I felt comfortable performing from Take Flight. And it just so happens that was my first overseas tour. The album was about to drop. It was one of the first songs on the album. And in the hook, it's like, nothing in life is free. Let's take it global. We all eating on me. So I literally learned that your words really are like come to fruition, and you manifest like things that you write down and things that you say. Like, I had no idea where that inspiration came from. It just came to me. The whole hook just came to me. I banged the hook out right away, and it took me a couple of weeks to actually write the verses for the song. Boom. Fast forward, now here I am in Europe with my husband, about to have a family and everything, and we're touring, and I'm on stage for the first time in another country, and what song am I performing? Nothing's Free. You know, so I just thought that was kind of crazy. Like, every time I think about the album, I can't help but be reminded of that. The other moment was Poetry and Rhythm. That was the first song that Intel and I created, and I literally, like, that's the moment that I had with music. And I've had it before, but it comes few and far between. Like, you always feel good with whatever you're doing, or at least you try to. That's the ultimate goal. Or you set yourself free. But you always come out of the studio with some kind of glow. But there are these pivotal moments where, like, you know, I guess like hit makers may experience, where, like, you know, it's a hit, or like, that shit just feels so good. It's an indescribable feeling. Like, it lights up the whole studio. And that was a moment, like, in the studio where, like, everything was, like, euphoric. Like, everybody was on 10. Like, the producer, like me, Intel, like, everything felt great. Everything felt amazing. And, like, the vibe, the tones of the song. Like, I literally felt like I was on ecstasy without, like, being on anything except music. You know, I was just like, wow. And it was just one of those moments to be reminded of, like, this is what this is about. You know, why I make the music I do, because, you know, it's not all the time you get to that, like, that level of amazingness with your music, but you know it's there, you know, so you have something to work for, to push yourself every time. And that was just one of my moments where, like, I broke the ceiling, and then I realized, like, oh, I'm just scratching the surface here. Like, I'm just at the beginning, you know? Like, there's so much more to go. So yeah, that was just a huge like moment in my life, and a moment of having like finally collaborating with someone, because I have collabed with people and I always enjoy collabing. I love, you know, creating with other people, but that was the moment where like the competition was real, the healthy competition, and it pushed me, you know, it pushed my pen, it pushed me to really think about my bars, it pushed me to write. So it just helped push me as a person, as a creator, and like bring in those good feelings and realize like what the potential that I have. The mission really, and Keep Dreamin'. Keep Dreamin' was cool for me because I had a chance. We had met a producer from Amsterdam and he was visiting New York, and one of our mutual friends, shout out to Paul Mars, introduced us to him. I'm drawing a blank right now. Babe, what was who was the producer on Keep Dreamin'?
P Soloist.
P Soloist. Sorry. Got to give people their props. So yeah, he was here visiting a friend of ours, Paul Mars. We all linked up and he was like, oh, let me give you guys some beats. And he's an amazing producer. Awesome. And it was cool because I got to connect with someone, you know, like, you know, I've done that over the internet before and connected with people from other countries and stuff, but like he was here in the flesh and everything. So we kind of got to create the vibe together, and that was a fun joint. That was definitely like a little moment for me. It was a little rushed, so I wasn't able to, of course, enjoy it the way I enjoyed like Take Flight, but it was another one. Like, Paul Mars is an insanely talented MC, so another moment where I knew I had to push my pen. And the mission, because a lot of people get like the message misconstrued in the mission. They're not really sure exactly what it's about. A little background on it. At the time, I was having problems with my old landlord, and I had lived there for a long time. And suddenly our relationship took a turn, and they were trying to push us out as I was pregnant. So the mission is a lot of people think I'm talking about my mother. I've heard that a few times. I'm actually talking about my landlord. And if you, I don't know what you got out of it when you listened to it, but that was like a very emotional state for me. That was something where I was like, you know, I was pissed, I was pregnant. I was like, and I didn't want to be like overboard, and I didn't want to go low and like badmouth her, because, you know, they did a lot for me. And I had lived in that apartment for almost a decade before this happened, which is why I was so hurt by it. And I was like, yo, I got to write a song about this, because I'm not going to be able to let this shit go unless I just, you know, set it free in my music.